There are things that even love can't heal, and I've learned to walk away from them. I can love deeply, but there are limits to what I'll endure for the sake of that love. You can hurt me once, but if you repeat it, know that I will no longer be the person you once knew. The pain of betrayal is sharp, but it's nothing compared to the hurt of knowing it was tolerated for too long. There's a line in the sand that you should never cross, because once you do, there's no coming back. I can deal with pain, but there's something in my soul that refuses to tolerate dishonesty. Sometimes the strongest people are the ones who have learned to walk away from what they cannot tolerate. I believe in second chances, but there's something in my heart that refuses to tolerate disrespect. My soul will not bend to your whims if they go against everything I believe in. I may stay calm on the outside, but inside, there's a fire fueled by the things I can't tolerate. Tolerance isn't about accepting everything. It's about knowing when to say enough is enough. I may appear strong, but my heart has its limits, and I can only tolerate so much before I walk away. When you test my patience, remember, I've already endured more than you know, but there's always a breaking point. Some things can never be undone, and once my trust is broken, it's hard to restore. I can hold on for a long time, but there's always a moment when I realize I've held on too long. There's a quiet strength in knowing what you won't tolerate and choosing peace over chaos. I tolerate mistakes, but I can't tolerate cruelty. There's a difference. I've learned that my heart is a fortress, but even it has its limits. There's only so much pain I can endure before it stops shaping me and starts breaking me. The only thing more painful than tolerating betrayal is realizing you've allowed it for too long. It's not the loudest actions that hurt, it's the quiet ones, the small betrayals that build up over time. I have boundaries, and when they're crossed, I don't just retreat, I rebuild. I tolerate a lot, but don't mistake my silence for approval. I am simply choosing peace until I can no longer remain quiet. Sometimes, walking away is the only form of tolerance left when there's nothing but disrespect around you. I can forgive, but when I say enough, it's because my soul can't endure anymore. Tolerating bad behavior doesn't make you strong. It makes you a prisoner of your own fear. There's a certain peace in knowing when to stop tolerating things that no longer serve your spirit. I tolerate growth, change, and mistakes, but I'll never tolerate being treated as anything less than I deserve. I know my worth, and I won't tolerate being undervalued, no matter how much I care. Silence is my answer when there's nothing left to tolerate or say. I've learned that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away from what no longer serves you. I tolerate hardship, but I will not stand by when my heart is repeatedly hurt. The thing about tolerance is that it wears out over time. What once seemed bearable eventually becomes unbearable. I can handle almost anything, but there are moments when enough is enough and I must step away. My heart is made of resilience, but there's a line even it won't cross when it comes to betrayal. Some things are too heavy for my spirit to carry, and I have learned to let go before they crush me. I've discovered the strength in walking away, in choosing to preserve my peace over tolerating negativity. Tolerance is a choice, but there comes a time when that choice becomes too expensive for my soul. I may forgive, but there's a part of me that will never tolerate the same mistake twice. I believe in second chances, but there's a limit to how much I can tolerate without losing myself. I can forgive, but the scar will always remain. Some things can't be tolerated or erased. My patience is not endless, and when it runs out, so does my willingness to tolerate anything less than respect. I can bear the weight of love, but I won't tolerate being taken for granted. There's strength in knowing when to stop tolerating things that are slowly suffocating your happiness. I can love fiercely, but I won't tolerate being disrespected in the name of that love. Some things just can't be tolerated, no matter how hard you try. Some lines once crossed can't be erased. It's not weakness to have boundaries. It's strength to know when to say no to the things you can't tolerate. I can carry pain, but I refuse to carry the weight of constant disrespect. Tolerance doesn't mean I'll accept everything. It just means I'll endure until I can't anymore. There's a difference between tolerance and acceptance. One is about enduring, and the other is about allowing. Some days I don't tolerate the pain. I let it wash over me and trust that it will pass. Sometimes the deepest emotions are the hardest to express, but the ones you can't tolerate speak the loudest. The heart can only take so much before it starts breaking the rules, and there are things it cannot forgive. There are things I can overlook, but my soul cannot bear betrayal. When your emotions get too intense, it's hard to keep your thoughts from overflowing. Be careful. It's not the big things that get to me. It's the small things that break me quietly inside. I can endure pain, but there's one thing I can't tolerate: being forgotten. Some moments are too much for the heart to carry, and some feelings can only be hidden for so long. I wear my patience as a mask, but inside, there's a limit to what I can tolerate. Sometimes, silence speaks louder than words, especially when my heart is filled with thoughts I can't express. I may be strong, but there are things that break me in ways I can't explain. There are things that will change how you see someone forever, and once that line is crossed, nothing can go back to normal. I can deal with mistakes, but betrayal is the one thing that cracks the foundation of everything. The things I tolerate are fewer than most people think. Only a few things truly matter to me. I can handle a lot, but the moment you push past my boundaries, there's no going back. Sometimes I hold back my feelings not out of fear, but because I know the weight of those emotions can crush everything around me. The line between forgiveness and tolerance is thin, and once it's crossed, the heart becomes unmovable. I'm not fragile, but there's something in my heart that you should never test. It's not about what I say, it's about what I won't tolerate. My silence speaks volumes. You can push me, but remember, there's a limit to what I'll tolerate before I walk away. The things I tolerate today are not the things I'll tolerate tomorrow. My strength evolves with every lesson learned. In the depths of my emotions, there's a part of me that won't ever bend to the things I cannot forgive. I don't ask for perfection, but I can't tolerate dishonesty or disrespect. Those things break me. There's a storm in my heart that only the truth can calm. Anything less than that is unacceptable. I may smile through the pain, but know this. There are things I won't allow to destroy my peace. Tolerance has limits, especially when it's stretched too thin by actions that speak louder than words. The strength you see is only a reflection of what I've learned to tolerate, but don't mistake it for weakness. There's a line inside me that you can never cross. Once you do, I won't be the same. I don't need you to understand everything, but you should know that some things can't be undone. My heart is a sanctuary, but it's not a place where you can play with fire and expect no burns. I've learned that sometimes the best way to protect myself is by drawing clear boundaries around the things I won't tolerate. You can challenge my strength, but you can't challenge my limits. Some things are just too much to bear. I might forgive, but I won't forget. And there are things I simply can't tolerate anymore. No matter how much love you give, there's always a limit to what can be tolerated before it becomes toxic. I'm not afraid to speak up, but I often choose silence to avoid crossing the line that would destroy everything. It's not the betrayal that hurts the most. It's the silence that follows when trust is broken. There's a part of me that's patient, but there's also a part of me that knows when it's time to walk away. I can forgive mistakes, but there are things that cut deeper than words could ever explain. The more you push my boundaries, the further you move from my heart. I only tolerate the real. Tolerance doesn't mean weakness. It means strength in knowing when to protect yourself from what you can't handle. If you ever wonder where my limits are, just watch how I handle the things I can't tolerate. Sometimes, the most dangerous thing you can do is to test the patience of someone who's already been broken. There's always a price to pay when you overstep the boundaries of what's acceptable. I'm patient, but I'm also aware that there are things I'll never tolerate in silence. Respect is the foundation of my peace, and when it's broken, my tolerance crumbles. I will forgive, but I will not forget the things I can't tolerate, and they will change me forever. There are things I will never allow into my life again, not because I can't forgive, but because they break my spirit. I can put up with a lot, but if you cross the line, I'll never look at you the same way again. Some things I can handle, but there are moments when my heart can't bear any more weight. Respect my boundaries, because there's a place inside me that even I don't dare to go when it's violated.